It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to educating, entertaining, and discussion of firearms, legislation, and your Second Amendment rights. Presented in part by the Illinois State Rifle Association, Illinois Gun Works, Safer USA, and Chuck's Gun Shop. Here's your host, firearm instructor, educator, and enthusiastic Second Amendment proponent, David Lombardo.
And welcome to On Target Radio. We're back again, Chicago's voice for the Second Amendment. I'm David Lombardo, and my co-host, the ever-faithful Tim Dalan, across the desk from me. Say hi, Tim.
Hi, Dave.
That's it. You're done for the night, buddy. Okay, every
Thank you.
Sunday.
Can I go home now? Do I still get paid?
That's it. Paid? What? Paid?
Wait, you said we got paid.
Go away. Every Sunday, we'll be here from 9 to 10 p.m. talking about shooting sports, personal protection, hunting, and all things Second Amendment. And you'll have the opportunity to call in and talk to our guests. Speaking of guests, Tim, for the third week in a row.
No. Third week in a row?
Do you think he's listening?
I'm sure somebody would have let him know by now.
I think he's listening. I do.
I think he has popcorn.
There you go. For the third week in a row, we would like to invite Chicago's Mayor Rahm Emanuel onto the show. And we would like to just, in a mature manner, discuss your views on gun control. We respect your right to have your views, and we would just like to chat with you about it. That's it. We just would like to have that discussion. So anyway, tonight we got what?
No, so anyway.
That's it. Tonight we got a really great show. We're going to talk about gun stores and indoor ranges, but we want to do a couple things first. First of all, we've heard that Otis McDonald, who is literally responsible for what allows now people in the city of Chicago to own a firearm for protection, Otis McDonald went in the hospital, and I understand he is doing well, but we certainly wish him a speedy recovery. The other thing is, I just wanted to say, at Aurora Sportsman's Club, we had our zombie shoot this Saturday.
Yes, I was there.
It was good.
It was fun. I'm all zombied out. I've got my 2010 zombie match T-shirt on and my
cruddy cap.
Well, it's my zombie hat that I got at the zombie match, too. So.
Have you ever noticed how you're always behind the time? 2010. Oh, okay. Anyway, we had about 150 people, I think.
It isn't 2010?
No. We had about 150 people. It was really, really good. It was out of Aurora Sportsman's Club. And I just want to thank the guys that put it together this year, Kevin Tully, Joe Goretto, Dave Lemaire, also known as the Belgian, and Eric Callis, and a lot of other people. I can't go through all the names, but thanks to everyone. It was a great weekend. We'll have it again next year. And if you didn't make the zombie shoot, you are square. Am I right, Timothy?
Exactly right.
All right.
We had a great time. We probably kept several ammunition manufacturers in business for a few more weeks. And
exactly. It was a lot of fun. It really was a lot of fun. The whole zombie shoot craze is a big kick. But getting to the fundamentals of the shooting sports and the Second Amendment in general, we have in a studio tonight two very, very cool people. One of them is John Riggio of Chuck's Gun Shop in Riverdale, who's one of our sponsors. And we, in fact, John climbed on board early. He had faith in us. You didn't know what to expect, did you, John?
I always have faith on Sunday.
Yeah.
I've already gone to Mass.
So it's one of those, you got kind of a flaky mic there. We'll see if we can't hit it for you. And then we also have Greg Tropino of GAT Guns in Dundee. Greg, thank you very much for being here.
Glad to be here.
We are happy to have you. And we're going to talk about gun stores and what it takes to be in a gun store and indoor ranges. And I think one of the things that we at Safer USA in our shooting school encounter frequently is people take a basic course and they go, okay, now what? What do we do now? And we talk about clubs and a lot of different things, but we also talk about going to gun stores, buying firearms, using the range. So, guys, if somebody wants to come in and use a shooting range, what do you look for? What are the key things that they need to know?
Well, I'll lead off first, Dave. The first thing we require is a current Illinois firearms owner's identification card. Second thing is they can either rent a firearm from us or use their own. We want to make sure that the firearm is safe and they know how to operate it safe. If they don't know how to operate, we will show them, whether it takes 5 minutes or 15. And when the firearm and the shooter are safe, we will allow them to go onto the range.
Okay. I guess, Greg, is there anything different that you do? Is this pretty common among all ranges, or is there some variation?
There is going to be a little bit of variation between all the gun stores that you find out there. Everyone's got a different level of needs that they're going to have. But John hit it pretty well on the head. The biggest thing is safety being number one. Obviously, we want everyone to enjoy their hobby, enjoy their Second Amendment rights, and just making sure that they know how to handle the gun right and safely, and make sure everyone knows what they're doing properly.
Great. You're listening to On Target Radio. We're taking calls. If you would like to call in, it's at 312-642-5600. That's 312-642-5600 if you have a question for our guests about gun shops and indoor ranges. Did you tell me, John, that they're changing the FOID card app?
Yes. We process FOID cards, and I believe Greg's store does also. And we have communication with the state police all the time, and they informed me a couple of weeks ago the form is changing. So if you're going to send your FOI in to get a new FOID or, get your new one, your old one renewed, just go on Illinois State Police's website and download the most current one, and you'll be right on.
And when is that happening again?
They told us within a couple weeks. So we don't know how long the old ones are going to be okay for, but as long as you download it right off the State Police's website, you should be current.
Now, when people come into a gun store, there are obviously some concerns by anyone who owns the gun store. I mean, we have attempts, do we not, of people to legally purchase firearms. We use the term straw man. What exactly are we talking about when we talk about a straw man?
Basically what that is someone coming in to purchase the firearm for someone else that would be normally ineligible to buy it, whether it's failing a background check or age issue or anything of that.
So when someone comes in and asks to see a firearm, are there things about them that make you hinky? I mean...
Well, what I always try to tell the guys is that whenever they're dealing with any type of customers, make sure you ask them questions, what they're looking to use it for. You know, is this their first gun? Is it target shooting, home defense, whatever it might be? Typically speaking, you could tell if it's for someone else based on them not being able to answer those questions properly or not having a justification or reason for looking at the model that they are, whether it's... you ask them if they're going to be getting a .22 rifle, and you ask them if they're going to be using it for bear hunting or not, and they say, well, maybe. You know, you can tell that something's a little up on that.
Yeah, and I expect you probably get a fair amount. Probably closer to the city of Chicago you are, you probably get more of that, I would think. I don't know. Is that an issue?
Well, I think the way we do it in our store, of course, like Greg, you have to have the FOI card. You have to present a current FOI card before we can show you the firearm. And if there's more than one person there, and one person has a FOI card, the other one doesn't, you want to make clear and ask the people who the firearm's for at the beginning, and ask them the exact same questions Greg did. What purpose you want it for? Home defense, target shooting, hunting, and and then go from there.
Now, when somebody comes in and says, "I want to buy a gun," and they really don't, I mean, they're being honest. They're not. There's nothing that looks suspicious about it, but they're saying, for instance, maybe I want to have a firearm in my home. Doesn't that open up sort of a line of questioning? I mean, these are legitimate, people who legitimately want to own a firearm, and they just don't know what they're doing.
Well, we always tell people that everyone's got to start from somewhere. So we always encourage, especially people that don't know anything about firearms, to take the time, go over everything with them, whatever they might need. Whether it's how they're handling the gun, what they're using it for, and a lot of it is fit and feel for how the gun fits in their hand, too, as well. So we just try to help people however much that they need. And you can kind of tell someone's intent, too, as well, just by talking to them. Normally, if they're buying a gun for someone else, they typically know the exact make and model that they are purchasing for the other person. The most common occurrence that we get is just kind of like John was saying, two people come in at the same time. You'll see one person pointing at the gun, whereas the other person is just taking out the void card and just nodding their head and saying, yeah, what he pointed at.
Do you look at a person and try and help them evaluate what's an appropriate firearm?
All the time. Like if they're looking to use it for home defense, and if it's an older lady, we're not going to give her a large 12 gauge, pump shotgun or anything. We want to make sure that whatever the customer is looking for, that it's going to fit their needs appropriately and accommodate to accomplish everything they're looking to do with it.
You're listening to On Target Radio in John Riggio, Chuck's Gun Shop, and Greg Tropino of GAT Guns. We're taking calls, and the line's open, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600, or go to Facebook, friend us on Target Radio, ask a question on Facebook. We will answer it on the air for you, so you can either call in or go to Facebook. The whole indoor range thing, that's a pretty complicated bailiwick, is it not? I mean, it's not like just a room that you get to shoot in. What goes into having a range? Well,
there's different types of backstops. Safety, of course, is the most important thing. So you have to have there's metal backstops, there's rubber backstops. You have to have boots where the bullets can't go in between the customers. But the most important thing is safety. That's the most important thing. So.
Okay. We're going to break briefly for some messages. These are our sponsors. Please do help us out and patronize our sponsors. And we will be back in just a few minutes with more On Target Radio.
Yes, we will.
The latest traffic every 15 minutes from the PropertyTax.com Traffic Center.
Good evening. I'm Laura Vaughn. We got big troubles on the outbound Stevenson. There's a car fire before Joliet Road in the 2 right lanes. And the ramp to northbound 355 is reportedly closed. You're jammed from Lamont Road. Your travel time outbound on the Stevenson, 24 minutes to the Tri-State, 44 minutes out to 355. No complaints on the inbound side. A 34-minute trip in from 355. Looking good on your Edens, a 19-minute trip. Inbound Kennedy, 31 from O'Hare, 17 from the junction. Outbound 10 to the junction, 20 to O'Hare. Inbound Ike 34 from Thorndale, 21 from Mannheim. Outbound is good at 29 minutes. Dan Ryan running 16 minutes in either direction. Tri-State Tollway northbound bunches up from 95th to Archer for construction. Clear tonight, low 53. It's 59 degrees. Next update in 15 minutes on AM 560 WIND.
Is there an app where I could find President Obama?
The Steve Cochran Show.
Maybe it's on the new iPhone 5. Because I'm looking for the president because as far as I'm concerned, there's some important stuff going on in the world. We've got an American embassy in Pakistan under siege. Yeah, we're still sending money to them. In Iran, we've got people in the streets chanting death to America. Protests in Afghanistan. I need an app to find the president. The president of the United States.
Steve Cochran, weekdays at 5, right after Michael Medved on AM 560 WIND.
Attention firearm owners or those considering exercising your Second Amendment rights. I want to tell you about Illinois Gun Works. From void services and new firearm purchases to gunsmith services and an indoor shooting range, Don and his staff will assist you without attitude or pressure. Need training? Illinois Gun Works' popular Illinois Responsible Firearm Owners class teaches you the regulations to legally defend yourself, own, and transport your firearm. There's a required class for a Chicago firearm permit and popular new shooter familiarization class, including one for women. Now, I took this class and urge you to reserve your spot fast for this fun class. Illinois Gun Works offers a wide selection of training and certification classes, from security work to those just considering ownership, even special group classes. Illinois Gun Works, Chicagoland's full-service firearm headquarters, is located on Grand Avenue, just a block west of Harlem in Elmwood Park. Call 708-452-0040 or visit IllinoisGunworks.com. That's 708-452-0040.
These days, going to the dentist can be practically painless.
Gee, that didn't hurt a bit.
Until they hand you the bill.
Ow!
Because if you don't have dental insurance, you could be spending a lot of money. Even just a simple cleaning can cost over $100, and other procedures like crowns and root canals can cost you hundreds more. But now you can get dental insurance for less than $1 a day. Real dental insurance that can cover over 300 procedures. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. For free information, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. 1-800-500-1611. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, no matter what your situation, even if you're retired or on Medicare. Plus, you can see any dentist you choose and never have to pay a deductible. This is the pain-free way to get the coverage you need for less than $1 a day. For details and your free information, call now. 1-800-500-1611. 1-800-500-1611.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM 560 WIND with David Lombardo. Here's David with more interesting conversation on firearms, safety, your Second Amendment rights, and much more. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
And we're back. It's On Target Radio. And now it's time for Tim's Tip of the Week.
I've been waiting all week for this.
I know.
I live for it.
I haven't been, but it's fine. Go ahead.
This is your Tip of the Week, sponsored by the Illinois State Rifle Association. This past week on Facebook, we asked if anyone had a Tip of the Week topic they would like me to cover. This week's tip was suggested by Mike Keynes, an avid shooter and member of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Mike stated, "It would be nice to hear descriptions of the various places to shoot in northern Illinois." I think this is a great topic. We'll be exploring it many times tonight with our gun shops and ranges and in other shows going forward. There are many gun shops throughout the area, such as Chuck's Gun Shop, Illinois Gun Works, GAT Guns, who have indoor ranges and will even rent you a gun to shoot if you don't have one of your own. We've already talked about that tonight. There are also many outdoor membership-type gun ranges from very large clubs, such as the Illinois State Rifle Association range in Bonfield and the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, to smaller clubs, such as the Newark Sportsman's Club located in the Newark-Yorkville area. These outdoor ranges, although membership organizations, also offer firearm matches that are open to the general public. So go to their websites and check their calendars for lists of these events. A really great resource to locate ranges near you is www.wheretoshoot.org. They also have an app for your smartphone. It's easy. Go to the website, select Find a Place to Shoot, enter your zip code, select how far of a distance you're willing to travel. For example, I put in my zip code as 60404, a 60-mile distance, and a list of over 50 indoor and outdoor ranges popped up. Information was supplied for each organization, such as location, operating hours, and amenities, including a phone number and links to their websites. Thanks again to Mike Keynes for your great suggestion concerning places to shoot in northern Illinois. This has been your Tip of the Week, sponsored by the Illinois State Rifle Association.
Always a pithy moment. Thank you. We have a question, actually, from Gretchen Fritz on Facebook, and she said, what should people do with ammo they can't use? How do we get rid of ammo?
Well, you can actually bring it into any type of police department, or most gun stores will accept it too as well. Basically, there's a lot of places that they can discard of it and make the ammo safe, because you don't want to reuse it if it's been too old.
So you guys will actually take old ammo?
Yes.
Some ammo, not all. Some we send to the police department,
Really?
and they thank us for it.
But you would take it if somebody walked in?
Correct.
And had,
Yes,
okay.
we would. We couldn't resell it, but we would use it for, when we repair guns, you have to test fire them, so we would use it for that.
Okay.
I
That's great.
never knew that. I've always wondered what the heck you do with this stuff. Now I'm going to take the 280 pounds of old ammo I have and drop by your place.
Yep.
Okay. So when we before the commercial break, we were talking about indoor ranges and some of the challenges that go with it. An indoor range has got to be an expensive operation. What sorts of things go into maintaining it?
There's a lot of different aspects, whether it's just ventilation in and of itself, replacing the filters, cleaning up the lead, too, as well, is not only a hazmat issue, but very tough labor speaking to as well. And we've been going through a lot of that just for the fact that actually coming this March, we'll be GAT Guns will be probably the largest gun range in the entire country, actually. But we're going to have over 60 lanes when it's all said and done. So,
and that is an extremely expensive undertaking.
Oh, yes.
What is it? I don't want to give away anything. I don't want to have you disclose business issues, but can you kind of share what does it cost to put an indoor range in?
It's definitely not as cheap as what a lot of people would like to think or hope that it would be. One of the largest costs is actually the ventilation unit in and of itself, that it could be, as much of half, if not almost the same amount of price for the ventilation unit as much as for the backstop. There's a lot of steel plates that you have to do, not only on the ceiling, but on the sidewalls, and then the end backstop you have to worry about as well, which there's a lot of different options. There's granulated rubber if people are looking for a more cost-effective way of putting in a range, but that leads to a little bit higher maintenance cost in that, so it's kind of a double-edged sword on that. But
So it's actually, the typical, what do you charge for your range if somebody wants to use it?
We actually do a couple different structures on that. It's normally $20, but it actually goes down to $16 for the discounted rate if they buy other accessories there. And we even go as low as $10 for first responders and things of that nature.
John, what do you get for yours?
We get $12 per person per hour. What I normally tell people is if you're a beginner, a little slower times on Monday through Thursday, because sometimes it's a little bit intimidating for a beginner. When it's real busy, there's 5-6 booths going at one time. So the first time a person comes to the range is probably the most important time. Safety is the number one issue, but you want to have it fun. So we try to start them off with a .22 rifle, then get them to a .22 pistol. You have fun, you go home with some holes in your target, and everything's good.
Now, you bring up an interesting question, because you just said you normally start them with a .22 rifle and then a .22 pistol. I've always actually done the opposite, because with a .22 pistol, it's a closer target. The success rate's higher. I mean, what is your reasoning with the rifle?
Our reason is it takes less athletic skill to hit the target with a rifle than a pistol. Some people are very coordinated. Other people are not too mechanical or coordinated at all. So, and a safety issue too. We just found that the rifle is much easier.
Now, do both of you rent guns?
Yes.
Yes.
So is that not the preferred thing before someone buys a gun? First, see if it fits your hand.
Correct.
Is it appropriate?
We really encourage people. Well, the first time you see them is when they come in and apply for the FOI card. But we always tell them, don't rush in and buy in a firearm. You're not buying a firearm every day. We want to sell you something that works for you. And how can you determine that it works for you with your hand size and everything and your purpose? Rent a couple guns. Rent a semi-auto. Rent a revolver. The best firearm for you is the one you could handle the best and you're the most accurate. The only way to really determine that is to actually do it. It might take 2, 3, but we want you a customer for life, so we're not going to rush into buying any kind of firearm. Take your time, make sure it's right, and that's how we do it.
Is it basically the same with you then, Greg?
Absolutely. You know, one of the best examples that I could give is that I could show you the best pair of running shoes out there in the world, but if I give you a size 6 and you're size 12, well, you're going to say up and down that I gave you the wrong pair of shoes. So fit and feel is one of the most important aspects, and we highly encourage people to try it out on the range to make sure that everything is a good fit and feel for them, too, as well.
Which brings up the question, there are people who I know will go into a gun store because their brother-in-law or their son or whoever has told them, you need a gun in your home and this is the gun you need. And they get this locked-on thing about, I want a Glock 45 or I want a 1911. I mean, how do you deal with someone that is, it's a switch? I mean, they just are programmed to something.
Well, you have the we call the newbie along with the so-called expert. And they're going to trust that person more than you because they know them. So sometimes it's a perfect example of starting somebody out with the wrong gun, with a 45. You scare the heck out of them. So sometimes that person will actually come back on their own and do it that way. But it's a little difficult because they know that person more than they know you. So you have to be a real salesman in that situation. So
yeah, it's tough, and particularly tough because, as we all know, if you put the first gun in a person's hand that's a high caliber gun, that just basically spoils them forever. I mean, they're it's very hard to unlearn that problem. Yeah. So that's, I guess, counseling up front.
Yeah, the biggest thing is just trying to, as gun store owners and gun store dealers and everything, the only thing that we can do is provide people with the options that are available to them, and just try to guide people to the right area, but ultimately it's what the customer wants. And if they feel that they can handle that larger caliber right up front, you don't want to go through that process. That's ultimately up to them, no matter how much that we can try to help guide them.
Now, based on what the customer wants, we've got about a minute and a half before we go out, but is there a shortage of guns right now?
Well, certain models, there's a little bit of a shortage, but it wasn't like it was 2-3 years ago where there was a real shortage with ammunition and firearms. It's not that bad, but certain models are tough to get right now. But I think the manufacturers have done well, and you got to plan ahead. Certain firearms, when they're available, you have to kind of plan way ahead, and it's a guessing game sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard that the manufacturers early in the year said our book is full, and if you haven't gotten an order in, you're not? Was that a myth, or is that true?
For certain manufacturers, that was definitely true. I think a lot of dealers are trying to stock up too as well for the upcoming elections. I believe a lot of people know that there's probably going to be another surge, to say the least, as far as gun purchases go.
Well, I think both of your stores have a wide selection of firearms, and it's just amazing. The demand for firearms today has just gone through the roof. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. Actually, we're going to come back, and we should have Richard Pierce from the ISRA on, talking a little bit, giving us an update of the ISRA, and then we'll be back later with our guests.
Two men.
Governor Romney and his allies.
If Barack Obama is reelected.
One stage.
I just want to say thank you and leave the stage.
No teleprompters.
Oh, goodness.
What will he do then?
And no escaping.
His intent is on hiding.
The truth.
Dishonest and distorting.
An honest debate.
The first presidential debate.
We get the chance to debate one another.
Debating our records.
Next Wednesday night at 8 on your source for election news.
We're going to get the White House.
AM 560.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler. President Obama at a rally in Las Vegas, where he's also preparing for this Wednesday's first presidential debate in Denver.
What I'm most concerned about is having a serious discussion about what we need to do to keep the country going and restore security for hardworking Americans. That's what people are going to be listening for. That's the debate that you deserve.
Mitt Romney supporter New Jersey Governor Chris Christie says he's looking forward to the debate and more from the candidates in the days to come.
I think that both sides have to look at this campaign and say, what are we going to lay out over the next 36 days?
Christie on NBC's Meet the Press. That's bridge construction on LA's 405 freeway. The shutdown dubbed Carmageddon 2. No traffic problems. Drivers steered clear. Fox News. We report, you decide.
The latest traffic every 15 minutes from the PropertyTax.com Traffic Center.
Good evening, I'm Laura Vaughn, and we do have some big problems on the outbound Stevenson. You're jammed from Lamont to just before Joliet Road. Right now we have a car fire that's taking up part of the roadway, and it's also part of the ramp to Joliet Road. And there's also some ramp restrictions going on the outbound Stevenson ramp to northbound 355 because of this. 2 left lanes are reportedly blocked on the ramp. 24 minutes out to the Tri-State, 44 out to 355. If you're inbound, it's A-OK. 34 minutes in from 355. All good now on your Edens, Kennedy, and Eisenhower. Moving at the posted speed limit. Inbound Dan Ryan, a little busy into the downtown area, 16 minutes. Outbound, a 15-minute trip. Delays on the Tri-State Tollway northbound between 95th Street and Archer because of construction. Clear tonight, low 53. It's 58 degrees. Next update in 15 minutes on AM 560 WIND.
Chuck's Gun Shop proudly serves Riverdale and the surrounding communities. Conveniently located near the 142nd Street exit of the Bishop Ford Expressway, Chuck's Gun Shop is staffed by friendly, skilled professionals who will help guide a first-time shooter and assist you in obtaining a State of Illinois firearm owner's identification card. Chuck offers a full line of new handguns, rifles, shotguns, knives, and accessories. Chuck's also buys, sells, and trades used firearms and has a gunsmith on location that will provide expert care for your favorite firearm. Chuck's features a 6-lane indoor shooting range. Bring your own firearm or rent one from their wide assortment. If you live in Chicago, Chuck's Gun Shop offers the required Chicago Firearms Permit course. Chuck's Gun Shop is open Monday through Saturday and located at 14310 Indiana Avenue in Riverdale. Visit their website, chucksgunshop.net, or call 708-849-4455. That's 708-849-4455. Chuck's Gun Shop, serving Riverdale and surrounding communities. Safer USA, Chicagoland's most popular firearms training school, is offering its home protection and concealed carry seminar every month. This 8-hour seminar covers everything you need to know to safely and legally use a firearm for both concealed carry and home invasion, and qualifies you for both the non-resident Utah concealed carry permit and non-resident Florida concealed carry permit, both recognized in about 30 states. Call and ask how they can help you raise funds for your organization or provide a guest speaker. Safer USA also offers all NRA basic firearms courses, including the NRA basic pistol class, firearm instructor courses, tactical pistol classes, and private one-on-one instruction, including the Chicago Firearm Permit course and a basic home defense course. For more information, call 877-954-3030 or go to saferusa.com. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is theirs. 877-954-3030 or saferusa.com.
Right is right and wrong is wrong. I'm attorney Darren Fish, founder of the Fish Law Group. Years ago, I made a vow to dedicate myself to educating and protecting homeowners. It's because it wasn't business as normal. It was personal. And as a result, hundreds of Chicago families are still in their homes. If you or someone you know is facing foreclosure, will or has fallen behind in making payments, then now is the time to sit down with me. For a free one-on-one consultation, I will personally review your situation and come up with a game plan that not only helps you today, but should also help you 3 months, 3 years, 5 years down the road. Stay in your home as the Fish Law Group fights for you. Breathe easier. Sleep better at night, knowing no one will be kicking you out of your home. Call me at 855-FISH-LAW. That's 855-FISH-LAW. Call for a free consultation at 855-347-4529.
Welcome to Move Time Radio, presented by the Arthritis Foundation. And we're smack dab in the middle of our dance-a-thon to fight arthritis pain. Me, I've been grooving for 10 hours straight, baby, but I'm a boogie machine. See, movement is just one of the ways to help fight osteoarthritis pain. Another is weight loss. You get rid of just 1 pound. That's 4 pounds of pressure off each knee. For more information on managing pain, visit fightarthritispain.org. Then meet me on the dance floor. This message brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
We now return to On Target on AM 560 WIND. If you have a question or opinion, the studio line is 312-642-5600. Now, here's your host, firearm expert and educator, David Lombardo.
And we're back. It's On Target Radio, and we are taking calls 312-642-5600 or on Facebook. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. Timmy, tell them how to do the newsletter.
Join my list at the top of our Facebook page on Target Radio, or you can go to saferusa.com and sign up there.
It's a free weekly newsletter that comes out every Friday if I have enough time to do it by Friday or Saturday, right?
Yes.
And it is, but it's free.
Sunday once in a while.
Or Sunday. And it's an industry newsletter. We have on the phone, calling in, Richard Pearson, the Executive Director of the Illinois State Rifle Association, a good friend of ours, and he's going to give us an update on the ISRA. Richard, are you there?
I'm here. How are you?
I'm great. Where are you at now, traveling around?
I just got back in. I spent the weekend in Washington, D.C., and so I had a meeting here tonight, and I just got out of that meeting, and so I'm now back in my office, which is where your person's supposed to be at 9:36 on a Sunday evening.
If you're the Executive Director of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Our guy sitting here in the studio said, what's he doing for us? Is he working or is he out bumming around?
Nope, I'm working.
Good. So tell us, what's the news in terms of the Illinois State Rifle Association, and what's the hot button going on?
Well, we got a couple of things going on tonight. There's an alert out there that was just released a few minutes ago. The Evanston mayor, Elizabeth Tisdall, I think is her proper name, I don't know, is going to have a town hall meeting on the October 2nd at 7 p.m. to talk about gun violence, which of course is just a code word for let's get gun owners and blame them for everything. So we're asking everybody in the area if they can possibly show up at that meeting. That would be great. It's going to be at 7 p.m. at the Fleet Jourdain Community Center at 1655 Foster in Evanston.
And that's open to anybody. You don't have to be a resident of the area?
Yeah, it's a public meeting, so it's open to everybody.
Okay, great. What else we got going on?
Well, the other thing is, of course, that we have a serious anti-gun candidate in the 55th District, which is around Des Plaines, Illinois. And so he's been putting out a lot of extremist anti-gun material, and against Ms. Sweeney. His name is Moylan, and so he is actually coming out, and he's really running to put the 55th District in the pocket of Rob Emanuel. So we got to keep an eye on him too.
So, what do you think the chances are we'll get the mayor on the show?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to degrade my show, but it's your show, I guess. So.
Well, we're always looking for something interesting, Richard.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have a feeling that the mayor doesn't really want to be on our show or your show, the show, and
we're certainly going to keep inviting him every week. We're going to invite him.
Hey, Richard, I see that the ISRA won an award from the CCKBA.
Yes, we have won our 7th, I think, Affiliate of the Year Award from the CCKRB, and which is the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. We're the only people that have won it twice, let alone the only people that have won it 7 times.
Well, congratulations. That's great.
No, congratulations to all of us because we all worked on it. And so I'm glad that's there. Other news, some of you may know that Otis McDonald suffered a cerebral event, a minor stroke on Friday morning, and is recovering nicely, we hear.
He's 70-something, isn't he?
77, right.
77. And he's as spry as you could get. Every time I've ever met him, you'd never guess he was 77.
Exactly. That's because he doesn't know he is. He thinks he's 37.
Richard, a question was floated last week, and nobody seems to be able to answer it. And actually, Greg called the state police, right?
Yeah.
And
that was John. It was John called.
Oh, it was John called. I'm sorry. John called the state police to get an answer to this. Somebody wrote in on Facebook and wanted to know if your father passes away or whatever, and he had firearms, what's the grace period? How long do you have before you have to get a FOID card or get rid of the guns? Do you know?
Actually, it's about 60 days.
See, there's the key word, about. So, and John, what did they say to you?
The problem, of course, is you have to apply for it, and now the time is up to about 74 days to get a FOID card. But if you keep all your stuff and have applied and make sure you have all that, and don't do anything crazy, of course.
We got about 1 minute left, but John, tell them what the Illinois State Police said to you.
Hi, Rich. How are you? Our friends at the State Police told us we believe it's 60 days, so they believe it. So my suggestion would be bring the firearms at a friend's house who has a FOID card, apply for your FOID card, and take the firearms back when you receive the card, however long that takes.
Yeah, but you got to remember that the state police are by law have to issue the FOID card in 30 days.
Right.
So they have to go out and get themselves a ticket.
And we know in the state of Illinois, all officials always follow the law.
Well, they follow something. It might be the law. Right. Might be the money.
All right. Thank you very much, Richard. And
thanks, Richard.
Have a great night.
We're going to be back in a few minutes with more on Target Radio.
The latest traffic every 15 minutes from the PropertyTax.com Traffic Center.
Laura Vaughn, and we have a couple of car fires to deal with right now. On the outbound Stevenson, the car fire after Joliet Road has been extinguished, but the two left lanes on the ramp to the northbound side of 355 are closed, and traffic is jammed from Lamont Road to just past Joliet Road. 24 to the Tri-State and 44 out to 355. Just for comparison, it's a 34-minute trip in from 355. Jane Addams Tollway is bumper-to-bumper westbound from Barrington Road to Bartlett Road. Car fire in the right lane there. And according to our algorithms, it's about a 4-minute delay. Check in the rest of your expressways. Okay on the Edens and Kennedy. Ike is moving well in both directions. Your inbound Stevenson just fine. Dan Ryan a little busy in the downtown area for construction. Clear tonight, low 53. It's 58 degrees. Next update in 15 minutes on AM 560 WIND.
Attention firearm owners or those considering exercising your Second Amendment rights. I want to tell you about Illinois Gun Works. From FOID services and new firearm purchases to gunsmith services and an indoor shooting range, Don and his staff will assist you without attitude or pressure. Need training? Illinois Gun Works' popular Illinois Responsible Firearm Owners class teaches you the regulations to legally defend yourself, own, and transport your firearm. There's a required class for a Chicago firearm permit and popular new shooter familiarity familiarization class, including one for women. Now, I took this class and urge you to reserve your spot fast for this fun class. Illinois Gunworks offers a wide selection of training and certification classes, from security work to those just considering ownership, even special group classes. Illinois Gunworks, Chicagoland's full-service firearm headquarters, is located on Grand Avenue, just a block west of Harlem in Elmwood Park. Call 708-452-0040 or visit IllinoisGunworks.com. That's 708-452-0040.
This is the event that you'll be talking about for years to come. You'll want to say you were there. It's history in the making as the entire AM 560 WIND lineup takes to the stage on the same night in the same city. AM 560 and ChampionNews.net are proud to present One Night Only. November 3rd at the Aku Theater in Rosemont. It's Glenn Beck.
Dream about what we're going to become.
Dennis Miller.
We have turned into a mincing, politically correct Leviathan.
Michael Medved.
The only legitimate purpose for government is to protect the rights of the citizen.
John Howell, Amy Jacobson, Steve Cochran, Hugh Hewitt, Dennis Prager, and Mike Gallagher. Together for the first and only time, just days before the presidential election. It's a night of commentary, comedy, and a celebration of the power and passion of radio. Tickets available now at 560WIND.com. Search for the keyword night. Sponsored in part by Libertyville Lincoln. You're listening to On Target Radio on AM 560 WIND with David Lombardo. Here's David with more interesting conversation on firearms, safety, your Second Amendment rights, and much more. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
And we're back with On Target Radio. This segment is brought to you by Pelcher's Shooter Supply. For 35 years, Pelcher's Shooter Supply has served the Lansing area Tuesdays through Saturday. Pelcher's offers new and used firearm sales, appraisals, and gunsmithing service. Pelcher's new spacious showroom has hundreds of major brand firearms and supplies, and Pelcherguns.com features daily specials. Pelcher Shooter Supply on the corner of Ridge Road and Henry Street in downtown Lansing. That's PelcherGuns.com or call 708-474-0674. That's 708-474-0674. And we are back. You have a question, Tim.
Yes. We have a question on Facebook. Mark asks, can you talk about the process of buying a firearm online and the purchasing process at my local gun shop? I assume that means if he buys a gun online and has it shipped to his local gun shop, what would you do on your end?
Sure. Basically, the process of that is obviously, figure out what gun that you want to get online. You're going to want to contact the person that you're actually getting it from too as well to see if there's any restrictions sending it to the dealer that you are going to be. The last thing you want to do is just tell them to ship it to a gun store with them not being aware that they're going to be receiving it. Typically speaking, there's some type of transfer fee where you do the paperwork at the actual gun dealer that's receiving it. Normally it's about plus or minus $50. It varies from store to store. And you do have to be a little cautious, though, just because obviously you're buying a gun sight unseen. Obviously it's a commodity. You know what it's going to be, but if there's any scratches or issues with guns operating or anything like that, then you have to do the shipping back and forth. So, but that's pretty much about it for the most part. Just like I said, contact both places as best you can, and I know John has some experience with it too as well.
And one thing I like to add to that, we have a Saturday night special law in the state of Illinois, and that was enacted in '74. And what that is any handgun that melts under 800 degrees Fahrenheit cannot be sold in the state of Illinois. Polymer guns are excluded, but I've had the experience a few times when people wanted to do that, and they weren't aware that they could not legally own that firearm in Illinois. So make sure you do check with your dealer to make sure that the firearm is legal in the state of Illinois.
And I know that both of you were talking earlier, it's only something that everybody should think about. If they're going to buy a new firearm, it would be much better to buy a new firearm from their local dealer where they can go in, they can get it fit. The dealer will work with them, show them how to take it apart, clean it, make sure it fits their hand or their shoulder if it's a long gun. So there's a lot of benefit to buying a new gun directly from the dealer, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
What services do you guys have? Gunsmiths?
Yes.
Yeah, we do repair guns also.
That's like a dying art, finding a gunsmith.
It definitely is becoming a little bit more and more difficult to find someone that's truly passionate about it and can do kind of the works for everything. You really only see those people going on the manufacturing side of things, which even then, so much of it is going to machining. We actually have 4 gunsmiths in-house right now, and a lot of it is just basic repair, replacing parts, and that's it. You don't really see too many people fabricating parts to fix guns or doing the welding aspect or anything of that nature for guns.
You're listening to On Target Radio, and our guests this evening are John Riggio of Chuck's Gun Shop and Greg Tropino of GAT Guns. As we're kind of winding down a little bit here, what's your biggest concern as a person who owns a gun store and a range? What keeps you up at night?
Well, liability, as we discussed earlier, and, of course, the straw purchase thing. With the range, of course, safety is number one all the way around. So there's a lot of balls to juggle in our business, but you're only as good as your slowest or worst employee. So it's your job to train them and make sure they know how to, do the correct thing with your procedures.
Dave, we got another question on Facebook.
Fire one ready.
This is from George, a fellow devil dog. It says Semper Fi at the end.
Oh, surrounded by Marines.
Do I need to go through an FFL to buy a gun from someone else, as in a private sale, both in-state or if I was to go out of state?
Well, if you're in state, if you're purchasing a firearm from, say, your next door neighbor, you have to make a receipt out. In a handgun, you must make that person wait 72 hours and 1 minute. A shotgun or rifle, 24 hours. You turn the paperwork in to absolutely nobody, but you both have to have the receipt. You both have to have the person you're selling to has to have a current FOI card. So that's basically the same thing as you're in a gun shop, except there's no background check. But you've had the background check, otherwise you wouldn't have the FOI card.
But if I wanted to sell a gun to Tim, I can just do that, right?
You can sell it to him, but you must make him wait the waiting period.
Really?
Yes,
now,
sir,
see, I've
Senator.
never heard
Yep.
that.
And that's one thing that most people don't know, but as I explain to people, it's almost like going 60 and a 30. Well, I didn't see the sign officer. It doesn't matter. The ignorance of the law doesn't matter. You have to know the law. You can go on ISRA's website, isra.org, and there's a good explanation of how to transfer a firearm there. It's right from the state police.
Okay, and that's something I learned tonight. We're going to be back for a few more commercials, and we'll be wrapping up the show.
Chuck's Gun Shop proudly serves Riverdale and the surrounding communities. Conveniently located near the 142nd Street exit of the Bishop Ford Expressway, Chuck's Gun Shop is staffed by friendly, skilled professionals who will help guide a first-time shooter and assist you in obtaining a State of Illinois firearm owner's identification card. Chuck offers a full line of new handguns, rifles, shotguns, knives, and accessories. Chuck's also buys, sells, and trades used firearms and has a gunsmith on location that will provide expert care for your favorite firearm. Chuck's features a 6-lane indoor shooting range. Bring your own firearm or rent one from their wide assortment. If you live in Chicago, Chuck's Gun Shop offers the required Chicago Firearms Permit course. Chuck's Gun Shop is open Monday through Saturday and located at 14310 Indiana Avenue in Riverdale. Visit their website, chucksgunshop.net, or call 708-849-4455. That's 708-849-4455. Chuck's Gun Shop, serving Riverdale and surrounding communities.
Hello?
Hi, is this Steve Bostic, president of Right Size Smoothies?
Yes. Are you calling for free shipping on your smoothies?
Well, so I already got free shipping. In fact, I've lost a ton of weight with your smoothies.
Wow, that's great news.
But now I have a problem I never thought I'd have. I can't stop losing weight, but I don't want to stop drinking your smoothies. I love them.
Well, here's one thing you can do. Only drink one smoothie a day. That way you won't cut as many calories. And if you ever need to lose weight again, you can always drink more smoothies.
If you need to lose weight,
Today, you can get 14 of our powerful weight loss smoothies, a $30 value for our lowest price ever. You won't pay $30, not even $20. Today, they're yours for just $9.96 with absolutely free shipping. This free shipping offer may not last. Call 1-800-919-2836. Only the first 100 callers are guaranteed free shipping, and supplies are limited, so call now. 1-800-919-2836. That's 1-800-919-2836. 1-800-919-2836.
You're listening to On Target on AM 560 WIND with David Lombardo. Here's David with more interesting conversation on firearms, safety, your Second Amendment rights, and much more. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
And we're back with On Target Radio. I find it very interesting, Tim. We don't get call-ins, we get Facebook. I mean, that's social media.
I know, but hey, it's great. You know, I'm glad that we have all these people on Facebook that have liked us. If you're listening to the show, you do Facebook, please go in and like us if you haven't already. We're going to post the guests, we post pictures, we talk on Facebook.
That's it. It's amazing. I don't know. We pictured call-in, but it's Facebook. We're streaming constantly. One last thing I just want to cue off of something you said, John. The ATF Form 4473 that everybody has to fill out when they buy a new firearm, that agonizing, detailed thing that you people are like psycho over filling out. The truth is, correct me if I'm wrong, that if there's a mistake on there, you're held liable. Is that not true?
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, you have to keep the form for 20 years, and paperwork basically is our life.
And ignorance, not only ignorance of the law, but even just a common mistake, tough luck, right?
Absolutely. Give an example on the 4473 form. If when they ask for what your county is that you live in, if you accidentally think that it says country and put USA, that's something that ATF, when they come through and do their audit, they'll actually fine us for that, for every mistake, even of that nature, when you can easily look it up based on their zip code.
So and this would be after the fact, because if you did it while you were there, you just tear that one up, right, and start over?
No. You typically put, you have to have the customer put a line through that, and then the date and initials saying that they were the one that made the correction, and then put their the correct response based on the question.
So the reason for that is not because you guys are jerks. The reason for that is legally they're holding your feet to the fire.
Both based on fines and by potentially losing our FFL license and not being able to deal in firearms anymore.
And generally speaking, and you may both run out screaming when I ask this question, you have like somebody, aren't you under some agent's jurisdiction? I mean, you have a regular person that you deal with ATF?
Well, we're under the Chicago Bureau, and you get a different person usually every time you get audited. So, not a direct person, no.
And maybe you don't want to answer this, but I mean, are they supportive or?
Always. We have a dealers organization, and every time they've ever had a question, they always find out for us what the correct answer is, and they want to help us, implement the law the correct way.
So there is a sort of mutual understanding that we're trying to do the right thing. They're not out and out just trying to shut people down.
No.
Absolutely.
Not at all.
Yeah, and one of the things too is that when you actually ask them a question, they're one of the only agencies that will actually give you a response back in writing, fully explaining every aspect of what your question is, too, as well. So they're very, very good about it.
They document.
Yep, absolutely.
Which means you can hold their feet to the fire.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? You have another question? The fire again.
Yeah, we have another question from Mark. He asks, what is the best way to record older guns that we inherited many years ago where there are no transferred records? Is there any requirement for doing anything like that?
Well, you receive the gun from somebody. Typically, the husband passes away and the wife's firearms. So, again, the transfer, like we talked about earlier, you have to make the receipt out that you received the firearm from that person.
Even though it might have been hanging in the closet for 20 years?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same way on every one.
Well, thanks, Mark. Good question.
Appreciate that. Again, it blows me away. Totally underestimated the whole social media thing. We're expecting phone call-ins, and it just streams in. So if you are listening to us and you are on Facebook, please friend us, right?
Right.
Friend us.
Friend us.
And we're happy to take questions that way. Don't have a problem with it. Works fine for us. Okay. Next week, we are going to be back with on gun control laws with Don Moran, president of the ISRA, Victor Quilisi, ISRA General Counsel, and Glenn Nixon, who's running for the 79th District. Be sure to